Stop, stop, stop. We don't need another promo video about the new Hasselblad. Hi, I'm Albrecht Voss. Today I want to share my unsponsored opinion about the brand new Hasselblad X2D Mark II. Before we dive in, a quick note. I'm not sponsored by Hasselblad. They don't even know I'm making this video. That said, as a Hasselblad master photographer, I regularly get hired to create imagery for their product release campaigns, which gave me early access to this camera. And while no review is ever truly unbiased, I promise you one thing. This is my honest take on Hasselblad's latest flagship camera. When was the last time we saw a real revolution in photography? Maybe aside from Sony's global shutter Alpha 9 Mark III in 2023, every manufacturer seems focused on video specs. 4K, 8K, 12K, 10,000 frames per second, it's all about motion. As if there's nothing left to improve for stills photographers. But in the comments of my previous X2D videos and in my workshops, people kept asking, what could we possibly expect from a next generation X2D? What's still missing for demanding photographers? To be honest, in the world of architecture and landscape photography, there wasn't much. The original X2D already offered incredible image quality, rock-solid build, and a beautiful, intuitive user experience. So what do you do as a manufacturer when your stills-only camera is already very defined and you're not competing with video specs? The solution is as simple as it is powerful. Hasselblad listened. They took their customers seriously and they implemented nearly every single feature that was most frequently requested. I've watched pretty much every YouTube video ever made about the X2D, and a handful of feature requests came up again and again. So let's go through them one by one. First, finally a joystick. The X2D is Hasselblad's first mirrorless camera with a dedicated joystick. To be honest, I never understood why people were making such a big deal about it. I always found it easy to move the focus point around using the touchscreen. But here it is, the little stick of joy. You can now move the focus point or zoomed in preview both horizontally and vertically. You can also navigate the entire camera's menu with the joystick without touching the screen at all. I didn't expect it, but the joystick has actually become one of my most used buttons, right after the shutter. Especially in winter while wearing gloves, it will be a huge help for operating the camera. While we are on the subject of controls, the X2D Mark II also brings more customizable buttons. Out of the camera's 14 physical buttons, 7 buttons can now be freely assigned with 35 different functions. The lens style can be mapped to 5 different tasks, including the new features of switching between focus subjects. The new custom buttons include the clickable joystick, a clickable front dial, and a brand new button beneath the joystick. What I do find a bit disappointing, you can't remap the auto exposure lock or the AFD button, which I personally never use. By the way, if you'd like to see how I've set up my X2D Mark II for maximum comfort and fast handling, check out my full setup video on my website. The setup I'll show you there will also work for 95% of the original X2D settings. That way you can hit the ground running with your new camera in a matter of minutes. Just click the link in the video description. Next up, Auto ISO in manual mode. This was another frequently requested feature, and now it's there. You can now activate Auto ISO while shooting in full manual mode. This means you can stay in full control over shutter speed and aperture while still letting the camera adapt to changing light conditions. Another of my personal frustrations with the original X2D, the tilting display. I love flipping the screen out and shooting from waist level, but the EVF always blocked part of the image. It annoyed me so much that I usually left the display closed. With the newer X2D Mark II, the display flips out far away from the camera body and now tilts a full 90-degree upward. Finally, you get a true digital waist-level finder experience. For me personally, this might be the most important upgrade. The screen also tilts 45 degrees downwards, which is great for the occasional overhead shot. When folded in, it looks nearly identical to its predecessor, and the hinge mechanism just feels a tiny bit more fragile compared to the X2D. What is still missing? The ability to tilt the screen for vertical shots. I guess we'll have to wait for the X3D. The name might be a hint for what is about to come. Speaking of the display, the panel itself is also new. It keeps the 3.6-inch size and 2.36 megapixel resolution, but now shows your images in the DCI P3 color gamut with a brightness of up to 1400 nits and a contrast ratio of 2 million to 1. Wonderful to see in bright sunlight. The screen brightness now also can be adjusted automatically. DCI P3 is widely used in video production and covers a much broader range than sRGB. It almost reaches Adobe RGB levels. Why they didn't just go all the way with Adobe RGB, I honestly don't know. One last highly requested feature was improved autofocus, and Hasselblad has caught up again in this area. The number of face detection autofocus points has increased from 294 to 425 points. You can now choose between different focus area sizes, from extra small to full screen, or even set your own custom shape. I've never seen that before, and it's a pretty cool feature. And yes, Hasselblad now offers continuous autofocus with subject recognition for humans, animals, and vehicles. For me as an architectural photographer, that's not really critical. But I tested it with my assistant and wow, the focus just sticks to the subject. My first impression is that Hasselblad no longer needs to hide behind Canon or Nikon here. Portrait and commercial photographers will love this new autofocus. I'm sure Hasselblad's connection to DJI helped with this leap. Keep in mind though that the new AFC only works with the latest Hasselblad lenses from the V series, E series, and the 28p and 75p. The new X2D Mark II now includes an AF assist light for low light situations, as well as a built-in LiDAR sensor. My first impressions here were somewhat mixed, with the autofocus frequently missing my face while capturing a selfie at night. But I'll keep you updated on that. So hit the like and subscribe button to not miss out on my next video. Now let's talk about the features nobody really asked for or thought they were coming. First, the new HDR workflow. Hasselblad calls the X2D Mark II the first medium format camera with a true end-to-end HDR workflow. But wait, doesn't every 16-bit RAW file already give you HDR? Yes. But this feature is about handling HDR HEIF and Ultra HDR JPEG files. Now, as a pro, whenever I hear JPEG, my brain instantly switches to standby mode. I shoot everything in RAW, so why would I care? Let me explain. A few months ago, I was participating in a live talk at the Leica store in Hamburg. The moderator asked how many people in the audience actually earn money with their cameras. Out of the 200 people, maybe 15 hands went up. And I suspect Hasselblad's customer base looks similar. Which brings us to a new perspective. Should you, as an amateur, shoot in a compressed format like JPEG? From my own experience, absolutely. When I'm on vacation, my family and friends want to see photos the same day, and I don't want to sit down and process 50 RAW files in Focus Mobile on my iPad, just to share a quick glimpse of the day. I'll simply use JPEGs, maybe hit the Auto Enhance button in Apple Photos, and that's it. Suddenly, Hasselblad's new HDR feature makes much more sense. Your photos will shine on Apple's HDR displays and in your Instagram feed right out of the camera. If you want me to dive deeper into this feature, just let me know in the comments down below, and I consider it for a future video. But for now, you can head over to my Instagram account and view the campaign's HDR images in their full glory. Now let's be honest. Have you ever told Hasselblad, guys, 7 stops of IBIS just isn't enough. I want to handhold a 3-second exposure. Whoever said that, Hasselblad listened. The new X2D now has 10 stops of IBIS, a feature that might make every tripod manufacturer tremble. This means you should be able to do multi-second exposures handheld. And yes, the images you see in Hasselblad's reels, all those one-handed shots are now tag sharp. After some real-world testing with the new X2D 35-100mm and a pre-release firmware version 1.1.6.3, I found that the in-body stabilization performance of the X2D Mark II to be similar to its predecessor at 38mm, both offering around 5 stops of IBIS. At 100mm, the Mark II shows a slight advantage with roughly 7 stops of stabilization compared to 6 on the original X2D. Across all tests, handheld shutter speeds hovered around half a second, though these numbers apply primarily to corner sharpness. In the center of the frame, images remain sharp at even longer exposures. That said, I'll still be bringing my tripod. And in windy conditions on a tripod, this feature still helps stabilize the shot. Perhaps firmware updates will push these numbers even further. Maybe Hasselblad pushed the IBIS further because they also lowered the base ISO by a third of a stop, now to ISO 50. This makes the X2D Mark II one of the lowest base ISO cameras on the market, right next to the Phase 1 IQ4 150. That's especially useful when shooting wide open in bright sunlight without hitting your shutter speed limit of the leaf shutter lenses. Warning, bokeh alert. The dynamic range of the X2D Mark II is now rated at 15.3 stops. On paper, that makes it the new champion among high-end stills cameras, a full third of a stop better than both its predecessor and the Fujifilm competition. I'll leave it to the YouTube lab testers to verify that scientifically. But to maintain the cosmic balance, something had to give. The continuous shooting speed has actually gone down slightly, from 3.3 to 3 frames per second. This likely makes the X2D Mark II the slowest modern camera on the market. For my work though, that's never been a problem. Still, not every wish on my personal list came true. I'm still missing a true black and white mode as an alternative to Hasselblad's beautiful natural color science. A low-res mode or a digital zoom would also be a nice addition too. For casual shots, I don't always need 200 MB files. And then there's the ongoing lack of Capture One support, my personal RAW editing software of choice. Dear Hasselblad team, all of these could probably be added via firmware. So, what do all these upgrades actually mean for you and me? Can still cameras still evolve? Absolutely. This isn't a revolutionary major release, but it is a very thoughtful and meaningful refinement of the original X2D. The X2D was Hasselblad's most successful digital camera, and for good reasons. It's the most beautiful, enjoyable camera I've ever used. It combines the pure joy of photography with the highest image quality available today. And the new version improves it exactly where it matters most. Features like continuous autofocus, auto ISO in manual mode, a better tilting screen, and the new joystick genuinely improve the user experience. I use these features every day and they bring me real joy while using. And the new HDR images are a blast to look at. I'll definitely make a separate video about this feature. That said, for my type of work, mostly architecture, these features are no must-have reasons to upgrade. But for photographers working with people, animals or fast-moving subjects, the new autofocus system might be a real reason to step up. If you'd like to see a direct comparison between the original X2D and the new X2D Mark II, or if you're interested in a full review of Hasselblad's new Super XCD 35-100 E-lens, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Those videos are already in the works. Until then, enjoy your photography, and until next time.